What is going on, New York Yankee fans? Welcome back to another video on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Also, share this one out as well. 5 stars on Apple Podcast for the Big Blue in the Bronx podcast. And use the SeatGeek code. $20 off your entire order with the promo code Big Blue in the Bronx. Concerts, tailgates, ball games. Works for all that stuff. So, I haven't done a lot of Yankee content this offseason. We're still trying to get a Yankee offseason stream, but a lot of content creators I've contacted really haven't gotten back to me. But if you have a suggestion, a content creator you want me to collab with, and it's not just going to be me, but if you have ideas, throw them in the comment section. But I did do the Yamamoto video on why the Yankees should pull the trigger on Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Please check that one out. And I also did a Juan Soto video back near the trade deadline in June, July-ish. I didn't even do it in August because that was when the trade deadline was. But anyway, moving forward, recently there's been increased talks, though they have stalled, for superstar Juan Soto. Now, I'm not going to go into these superb stats and waste my time and your time, because I did a lot of that in the July video that we did on Juan Soto coming to the Yankees. And I will go over some basic stats, basic accolades, then we'll go over into what's been going on in these talks, who's being involved, who's not being involved, and then I'll go over reasoning as to why the Yankees should pull the trigger. So Juan Soto, he's 2 months younger than Tommy DeVito. He's 25 years old. And last year with the Padres, we know the Padres have been a shit show for the last few years. Last 2 years under Bob Melvin. He is now the Giants manager, so on and so forth. But Soto is one of those guys that's still doing his thing, right? He's a superstar. He's a young kid. Played all 162 games last year. Had 35 home runs, 109 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, total of 156 hits, and 568 at-bats, 275 batting average. And one of the things I pointed out in my video that we did a couple, months earlier was this guy walks more than he strikes out, and that's a trend that he's had since 2020. And it's a consistent trend too. The first 2 years it was more strikeouts than walks. And, the difference was usually 20 to 30 between the two, right? The ratio. But you go to 2020, that's when the trend started, and that's also when he won, I think it was the NL hitting title award. Yeah, the NL batting champ award, 3-time All-Star, World Series champ, 2-time MLB first team, and a Babe Ruth award winner, and also 4-time Silver Slugger. But back to the thing I was talking about is a lot of people will get the perception with these stars nowadays in baseball is, they strike out a lot, they don't walk a lot, they don't hit extra base hits a lot, they're not good for contact, or all these different things, right? I think Juan Soto defies that. And I'm not saying people are wrong with that, because Cody Bellinger is a guy like that, Joey Gallo, there's all these different guys that live up to that stereotype, but Juan Soto walks more than he strikes out. And the Yankees need guys that can consistently get on base, right? We've talked about that for years. And with Juan Soto in the lineup, and show you proof, by the way, in 2023, he struck out 129 times, walked 132 times. The prior season, he had 135 walks and 96 strikeouts. So, that's the trend he is setting. I don't know many players that walk more than they strike out. And it's not just him having an eye at the plate. It's, oh my God, it's Juan Soto, I got to walk him. Intentional walks, hopefully we could pull up that stat right now. If not, it's fine. We'll leave it as is. But anyway, he puts fear into the pitcher's eyes, as most superstars do. But it's serious fear because of the amount of walks, pitching around him, trying to get to the next hitter. And opposing pitchers are not going to be able to do that if Juan Soto is a Yankee. Giancarlo Stanton is there. He's got his on and off moments. You do have Aaron Judge. Obviously, he's going to be a big part next year in 24. And the future of the New York Yankees. Gleyber Torres, who had a very impressive year in 2023. Hope some other guys get back into the fold. Anthony Rizzo as well. So you're not going to be able to pitch around Soto and just okay, I got to strike this guy out. No. The top of the order is going to be a little bit more top heavy, but you could also just stream that through the bottom half of the order too. It's not just going to be, 4 hitters and then boom, the rest of the lineup is just fucking garbage. you'll have your Gleyber Torres. Obviously, the Yankees will have to figure out who's going to be the leadoff hitter. But you'll have your Gleyber Torres, your DJ LeMahieu, if you want to put him either in the 1 hole or the 5 or the 6 hole. You'll have Judge, you'll have Soto, you'll have Stanton, you'll have Anthony Rizzo to put in there. You'll have Trevi or whoever you want to position catcher in there. You'll have Anthony Volpe coming back. You'll have Peraza. So there's going to be multiple opportunities for the Yankees to mishmash their lineup in a good way. But that's all because, hey, Juan Soto would be in this situation joining the New York Yankees. And again, he hits for extra base hits. He walks more than he strikes out. And again, that's not a trend a lot of MLB stars set. Now, let's talk about what's been going on recently in these quote-unquote talks. The main guys that have been reporting this, it's Brian Hoke, it's Andy Martino, it's all these different guys. And normally, everyone is caught with the perception, AJ Preller, right? He wants Anthony Volpe. He wants Jason Dominguez. And a lot of people were freaking out on Twitter. I don't want to give up these guys. They're top-tier prospects, and they're going to work out for us. They're going to be with us for the next 10 years. Personally, me, I would give up those guys. But to be honest with you, look at the reports, people. That's not what's coming out. Per Andy Martino, the following guys have not been involved in trade talks: Everson Piera, Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, and Austin Wells. Those guys were not involved. Now, there's a lot of people coming out with these theories of, are they just trying to yank the Yankees? Are they just trying to clickbait them, right? And then, just say, hey, we're not giving up Soto. We just wanted to bait you guys. I mean, it's worth a shot. But anyway, those 4 guys who are very important to the Yankees' future, more likely so the last 3, I wouldn't say Piera yet because he didn't show me a ton in 2023. Those guys are very important, and right now, AJ Preller's not looking for those guys. So here is what San Diego reportedly wants. They want Michael King. They want Drew Thorpe and 4 to 5 other prospects such as Johnny Brito and Clark Schmidt. My opinion, the Yankees should have no problem giving those guys up. They got a ton of pitching in the system. They have some free agent options that you could go to for cheap, and some guys returning and hopefully will be better in 2024. And they also want salary relief. I don't know if I mixed that up, but salary relief for Juan Soto and another guy that's been in the talks, Trent Grisham. Now, Grisham is not a good hitter, or at least coming off last year. He hit 198, 154 strikeouts. 3 years in a row, he struck out over 100 times, 13 home runs, 50 RBIs. Not great, right? Last year with the Padres, he earned about $3 to $4 million. And as far as this upcoming year, it's arbitration. He gets arbitration this year in 25. Estimates around $5 million. But what you could do is maybe Trent Grisham fills in, the first half of the season. Jason Dominguez comes back in the second half. Maybe use Trent Grisham as a trade chip in the offseason. Just a thought, right? And again, if I was the GM, I would take Grisham if I didn't have to give up Volpe, Dominguez. And that's what this situation is. They're not asking for Volpe. They're not asking for Wells. They're not asking for Dominguez. I would give salary relief because you are getting Juan Soto. You are getting a superstar. And I would take Trent Grisham just to say, okay, first half of the season, he's going to fill in. Then we'll put Dominguez back in there. And, you don't have to go out and sign Cody Bellinger. You don't have to go out and do this, that, and the other thing, right? But here's the problem. Michael King was pretty impressive down the stretch compared to the first part of his career where he was put in a starter role and he wasn't that good. The Yankees tried platooning him in that role late last year, and it started working a little bit more for him. His win-loss record wasn't great, but 2.75 ERA, 104.2 innings pitched, a total of 9 starts and 49 appearances. Again, that was mostly in the second half of the season when they were just trying to get things out of there. My personal opinion is this. Yes, Michael King is a proven player, and he's been good out of the pen more than not for the New York Yankees. But again, it goes to this. Juan Soto is a once-in-a-lifetime player. The Yankees have passed up so many guys because they've held on to prospects, Justice Sheffield's of the world. They've had Chance Adams, and they wouldn't pass him up to trade for, I think it was Garrett Cole. There's been multiple opportunities for the Yankees to trade for superstars, whether it's pitchers or hitters, and they haven't done that. Brian Cashman has held on to prospects. And the scary thing is this, and I'll talk about the pitchers and what it could look like if you do go out and trade for Juan Soto. There's a lot of teams, the Blue Jays are one of those teams in on Shohei Ohtani. And obviously we know the situation with Ohtani, the UCL tear, all that sort of stuff. If they decide that they're going to position themselves and say, okay, we don't want Ohtani, but we want Soto. I believe the Blue Jays were one of those teams last year that were interested in Juan Soto, amongst others. You think that you have all the leverage, Yankees, that you can say, okay, we're not going to put King in this deal. The Padres and A.J. Preller could go out there and say, fuck you, we're going to go and start discussing talks with the Blue Jays, and then, boom, he's going to be in your division for the next few years, if he does sign that extension. And, yeah, I get it. He may be a rental, but this is a superstar. If you do the right things, if you build around Juan Soto and Aaron Judge with competent hitting and competent pitching, maybe he will say to himself, okay, I can actually stay here because I'm very comfortable and I'm going to earn a big contract and all these other different things that come with New York, the popularity, the superstar fandom, all those other different things. Now, let me say this, right? Let's just say the Yankees go out there, they give up a Randy Vasquez, they give up Brito, they give up King, they give up Thorpe. Now, one of the main reasons that they're asking for these guys is because they have a lot of cats going into free agency. Michael Wacha's one of them, Blake Snell, Nick Martinez, and I believe there's one more guy on the list. I listed 3 so far, and Seth Lugo, the former New York Met. So those guys are going into free agency, which, again, leaves Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish as the starters. And for them, King could be a starter. Vasquez could be a starter. Brito could be a starter. 3, 4, and 5. Maybe you mix them in. I don't know. That's their own situation to figure out. Now, you go back to the Yankees side. Let's just say you make that trade. Who's your proven pitchers? You got Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Carlos Rodon. Those are your 3, right? Now, you could say, okay, maybe we'll put faith in Luis Gil. Obviously had the surgery, hasn't pitched in a year and a half, but maybe you start him out in the bullpen and then you move him to a starter for the future. But it's not just stopping there. You got prospects in the system. I did mention the Yankees have a lot of pitching. Chase Hampton, he's in Double-A right now. His projected ETA is 2025. Will Warren, he was in Triple-A most recently, I believe. 2024, 2025. That's his ETA. Richard Fitz, he's in Double-A. 2024, 2025. That's his ETA. And Clayton Beeter, right, from the Joey Gallo trade. He's in Triple-A, could make his debut. Now you look at free agents. And I'm not talking all the high-priced free agents in the world, right? You got Jordan Montgomery, who you could bring back to the Bronx. They traded him for Bader. Obviously, whatever happened with that situation, whether you call it a good trade or a bad trade, Montgomery just won a ring in Texas. So you bring him over as your 4th starter. You're not really feeling bad about things. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you push him to the front of that rotation. And then you go with Rodon. And then you go with Cortez. And whoever's your 5th starter, nobody's going to give 2 shits, right? But then you go into the cheap side, but low risk, high reward side of free agency. And 2 of these pitchers are actually from San Diego. Eduardo Rodriguez came off a solid season with Detroit last year, and Detroit was another shithole. Seth Lugo, who was around a 3 ERA, didn't have the most consistency in New York. Michael Wacha, a lot of Met fans hate him, so he may not work in New York, but with Boston in 2022, he was actually pretty good. And in San Diego, he was pretty good. So you could get guys on the cheap just to fill that back of the rotation. It's not a hard science fair, science project thought out thing. It's not that. People are just overthinking this. Nobody's going to give 2 shits what the pitching looks like unless it's really, really bad when you have Juan Soto here. Okay, this is a superstar we're talking about. What's been the problem the last few years with the Yankees, despite injuries? And again, that's a built-in excuse. Even though, yeah, you could use it. Again, built-in excuse. The hitting has been the problem. The strikeouts have been the problem. Not getting on base, not hitting with runners in scoring position. That's been the Yankees' problem, not the pitching. I mean, Cortez was not himself last year. Rodon was not himself. You're hoping for a bounce back year. This is not the NFL where you get immediate replacements the next year. This is a league where players come back and you hope for a bounce back. It's a different situation, right? So the Yankees, I get it. Michael King, for some reason, he is deep in their hearts. But you know what? The talks, obviously, were going for a while. They have stalled. Start him up again and pull the fucking trigger. Because guess what? Whether he goes out there and stays in San Diego or he gets traded to another team, I bet you guys this. We're going to keep talking about it the next how many years. Oh, Brian Cashman, right? He missed out on another superstar when he could have just given up Michael King. We don't want to be having that conversation. We want to be having the conversation of Juan Soto is going to be in the Yankees opening day lineup, and we can't wait for baseball in 2024. Like, comment, subscribe, folks. Turn on post notifications so you know when the live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Going to try to put a couple more Yankee videos out, obviously, before the end of the year. A couple other things going on, obviously, and some Giants content, too. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.